Hi guys, welcome to another episode of T's Foaming Terrain and all that. And today we've got another video for you. And this episode we're going to look specifically at our 10mm Falklands project again. Now, really, I got really excited about doing Top Mallow House, and I want to kind of keep that going for a moment. I haven't got the reinforcements, all of the reinforcements through yet for the naval ships, so I'm going to hold off for that on probably another week or two maybe. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, today we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of my usual video where I'll sort of talk you through the stages, go away and do it and then come back, we're going to swap it round. So I'll do this introduction and then we're going to get down into it. And we're going to do some time lapses and me narrate what I'm doing over the top. The aim is to try and keep my videos a little bit shorter. I am conscious looking at the kind of the analytical side of things that YouTube can do for me. It does seem that some of the longer videos people just aren't watching it all the way through, which is fine, that's their choice, but I kind of want people to get something out of it, and if a shorter video is going to help with engagement, let's try it out. So anyway, I was going to do all of the rocks that I've got. I've decided against that. I haven't got the time to get that done for this week's video. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the rocks with the kind of camps in them. There's 4 of them. Hopefully we'll get this all done. Anyway, let's jump down to the workbench and watch the progress or the process unfold as we go. See you at the end.
The first step was to check the position of the castings on the bases. Then I took some sandpaper and sanded off any sprue marks left on the bases. I then took some super glue and attached the castings to the bases in position. Following on, I then took some filler and applied it with my finger to blend the edge of the casting to the base. Once the filler was on, I then dipped my finger in some water and smoothed out the edges. Once the filler was dry, I then applied some PVA glue and then some sharp sand to cover the rest of the base. I then left the bases to dry, and once the sand was dry, I then took the bases outside and used a rattle can spray paint to prime the bases in a black coat. Once that primer was dry, I then came inside and used a burnt umber cheap acrylic paint to cover the base covering or the ground covering in a good solid brown colour. Once the base colour was dry, I then came in with a chocolate brown, again a cheap acrylic paint. The idea of this was to show a difference in tone for the ground covering in places, and also to highlight some more trodden areas such as paths. The next step was to use a dark grey cheap acrylic paint to paint in all of the rock areas on the bases. Once this coat was dry, I then used a GW Noon Oil wash and applied it to all of the rock areas. This had the advantage of seeping into all of the recesses, but also darkening the grey colour so that I had a nice dark grey to then dry brush in the next and later stages. Having applied the wash to all of the grey stone areas, I then worked on the details such as the tent and the ammo boxes. The tent I used a Vallejo military green, and for the ammo boxes I used Vallejo flat earth. I also used the dark grey that I used for the rocks to do the corrugated iron. As well as painting the corrugated iron, I also added some of the chocolate brown for the dirt covering on top of the corrugated iron. I then used a granite grey, again a cheap acrylic paint, to do a dry brush on top of the grey rocks. Next, I used the GW Agrax Earthshade wash on the tent and ammo boxes. I also used Noon Oil wash on the corrugated iron. After that, I then used a cheap white acrylic paint to do a final dry brush on the rock areas. I then used a GW Terminatus stone to do a dry brush on the tent and ammo boxes. With the painting finished, I then moved to the ground cover. The first job was to apply tufts. For this, I dabbed on in small tactical spots some PVA glue and then added some 2mm tufts as well as some slightly bigger tufts to give variation. At this stage, I should note that I prefer to add the tufts first because I feel it's easier to add the flock on after the tufts rather than the tufts after the flock. Finally, I added some autumn grass flock to the bases using some PVA glue. I sprinkle this on after the PVA has been applied and then shake off the excess back into the tub for use another day. Hopefully, using the same techniques as the Top Mallow house project, it ties all of these pieces together. And as you can see now, these are how the mountain top positions turned out.
Well, there we have it, guys. We have some mountaintop positions, and hopefully you'll agree with me. They've come out really nice looking. I think I really like them. They fit in really well with the Top Mallow house terrain as well, and hopefully I can sort of get a similar sort of feel to it throughout all of my terrain pieces there for my 10mm Falklands project. Obviously, it's a bit of a different format than usual. Please let me know in the comments if you liked it. I am very interested to see what you as viewers think is sort of an ideal length of time for videos, whether that's sort of, you know, kind of under 10 minutes, sort of short videos, or whether we're looking at more sort of 10 to 30 minutes, sort of more of a medium length, or even some of you might even like the longer ones, the 30 to 60 minute videos. I have to say I haven't made too many of those. There's a lot that goes into it, but sometimes they're appropriate and sometimes they're not. So anyway, comments below, and as usual, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to continue following the channel, you want to know when I get new videos out, you know, please feel free to subscribe. It really gives me enthusiasm and encouragement that the content I'm making is good and that people are enjoying it, and that's what it's all about really, as well as my enjoyment. This video is going out a bit later than would have liked. Wanted out Tuesday, it's now probably going to be out on Thursday, but that's just the way life is sometimes. Work's been extremely busy this week and it's sort of pushed the schedule out a little bit. But I do hope to get back on course on Saturday with another Lord of the Rings 2mm video. So do please come back on Saturday and check that out. And as always, really appreciate your support, and we'll see you in another episode very soon. Take care, stay safe.